Good evening, YouTube. Good evening to you, everybody. I had some difficulties with my iPad, and so I decided to come back live, and I decided to come back on my phone. Normally, I don't do really well streaming on my phone, which is why I stream on the iPad. Normally, I don't do well streaming on my phone. Normally the sound is terrible on the phone. So I decided to come back on the phone. Hello, YouTube. What I want to do tonight is I want to talk about what's happening in these YouTube streets. What's happening in these YouTube streets, it is not fair. It is not fair that you can just call somebody mentally ill and say allegedly they're taking pills, allegedly they're mentally ill, and expect for that to be okay. It's not okay. It's not all right. It's not all right to do that. It's not all right to destroy someone else's livelihood just because you want to steal something from them. It's not okay to do that. I don't condone what's happening right now on YouTube. I don't forgive what's happening right now on YouTube. I don't think it's acceptable. I think somebody else who is a more popular YouTuber should also speak up. I don't think it should just be me speaking right now to say, I don't think this is right. I think somebody else should get up and speak and say, I don't think this is right. I don't think it's right for TS Madison to admit to stealing from Kaya. TS Madison admits to stealing from Kaya. She says, I took a patent out on the brand. The brand is not yours, sweetie. So when you did that, you say, oh, well, so since I took the patent out on the brand, oh, well, I'm going to use it. That's what it sounded like to me, TS Madison. And to everybody with common sense that is watching, that is what it looked like to us. It looked like, it was like, oh, well, I took a patent on the brand. Oh, well, since I took it, I'm going to use it. Oh, it was Justin J. Justin J said that like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So the timeline doesn't even match with the thief's explanation. So it was just a matter of, oh, well, so that's what it sounded like to us, people with ethics. So instead of the rest of these homosexuals, instead of them to say, okay, T.S. Madison, Kaya will return the money to you and you can transfer ownership back to her. No, you guys come on YouTube and you call her mentally ill. That's not fair to her, her children, her livelihood. Now you're destroying a human being. For what? Just so you can get clicks and make YouTube money and be YouTube popular? It's okay to destroy a woman? It's okay for that? So when you call Kaya mentally ill, who is, like, let's look at the pendulum. Let's look at the mentally ill pendulum. Who's mentally ill? Like, let's say that, okay, let's say we were to say, let's say I was to agree with you. Let's say I was to say, okay, Kaya is mentally ill. I would look at her actions. Okay? Whose actions speak of mental illness? Kaya's actions or T.S. Madison's actions? This is somebody who comes on YouTube Live and admits to taking a patent on someone else's brand. Admits to it. Okay? And then not only does he admit to it, he says, oh, well, I'm going to start using it now. And the other homosexuals, instead of them saying, oh, hold on, let's be fair. Let's be fair because we are all creative. We can create our own shit. Let's be fair. But no, that is not what you men do. You men come and accuse this woman of being mentally ill. What kind of men shit is that? You know what? You men are hood, but you don't got the men. You just hood. Y'all just some hood. Y'all aren't no man. Y'all just hood. There's no manhood here. It's just a bunch of hoods. No man, just hoods. That's not fair. That is not what you do in real life. In real life, you don't steal from someone and say, oh, well, I didn't steal it. I was just protecting it. If you were protecting it, the owner came, hand it to the owner. Like, okay, let's say you step off and your bag is here and I'm watching your bag. When you come, I'm going to give you your bag. I'm not going to take your bag home. If I say, well, I was just protecting your bag, I didn't want other people to look at it, I didn't want other people to go inside it, I didn't want other people to take it. So as soon as I would come back, you would give me back my bag. Don't say, oh, it's nice, I'm going to keep it. Be creative, bitch. Tick says, it just went, it's going to come back on. You say, fellas turn into E.T. and I couldn't read the rest, Tig Evans. How are you tonight? So, we are watching these males gang up on Kaya to destroy her. Why? Kaya and Alex Rogers, you are not only saying she's mentally ill, you're saying she's a homophobic. How is she homophobic? What is so special about a homosexual? What makes a homosexual special? What? Is it the anus? The anal sex? Women have anal sex too. A lot of people have anal sex. Is it that makes a lot of different people have anal sex? It's not just men and women. A bunch of, like, that's not what should make somebody special. What? What is it? So you cannot even answer your own dumb question. So now all of a sudden Kaya is homophobic? Why? Because she's not letting TS Madison juice on her femininity? That's why she's a homophobic, and now she's mentally ill. So if I was to look at Kaya, a woman, 2 breasts and a vagina, and I'm looking at T.S. Madison, a man, 2 breasts and a penis, who would I say is mentally ill? Like, you people keep opening your mouth to destroy others without regard to logic, without regard to evidence. Look at the evidence. Who's mentally ill? Look at Funky Dineva. Look at this funky bitch that came out of a funky vagina. Every time he opens his mouth to speak about a woman, what does he say? He says, oh, the pussy's thinking this and that. And that's all he speaks about. And he calls himself Funky Dineva. You know that bitch came out of a funky vagina. Funky the vagina. That's all he came out of. Masking himself. These are the men that seek power. When you look at a man like Funky Dineva, you can tell this is a man who seeks power. He seeks power. I just got into a motorcycle accident recently. I don't know if you guys can tell. I didn't publicize it when it happened because I wanted to heal fast. Like, I didn't want public opinion to interfere with my healing process, but I did get into a motorcycle. I ride motorcycles when I go overseas, and I did get into a minor scrap. Let me see what you wrote there, Tig Evans. Okay, so we are talking about an issue of somebody. Okay, not only do you steal this woman's brand, you steal her brand, instead of you saying, okay, I did take the brand, it wasn't the right thing to do, but what do? You say, oh, she's mentally ill. Also, that's supposed to be an excuse for you not being creative enough to create your own shit, to come up with your own shit. When I was a student, when I was doing my MFA in creative writing, I came up with all my own shit. I wasn't stealing people's shit. You people act like you're bright. You people act like you're smart. But in actuality, you are thieves. You are thieves. You're not honoring yourselves as males. I mean, I see the hood in all of you, but I don't see the man in all of you. But I do see the hood in a lot of you. I just don't see the man. Now, you're speaking about this woman and you're saying she's mentally ill. And I did warn you, Kaya. When you sit alongside these homosexuals, they attack in subliminal ways. They attack in passive-aggressive ways. They're never going to come out and physically attack you. They're going to find ways to destroy you, to destroy your character, to destroy your womanhood, to destroy your livelihood. And this is what's happening right now. I don't like what's happening right now. The Queen's Court was bound to go down. The energy between the two was not keeping up. It was not keeping up. TS Madison was more concerned with impressing these heterosexuals. And that's what happens with a lot of these transgenders. A lot of these transgenders, when they get around heterosexuals, they lose their common sense. They lose it. A lot of these transgenders, they do. When they get around these heterosexuals, that's when they want to get on all fours and lick like they're doggies. They're not concerned with the reality of the moment. So T.S. Madison wasn't a good friend to begin with. For her to have given permission, and it looked like you used that funky bitch as a port of mouth. So Kaya, you got to watch out for these hoes, because all of a sudden these people are questioning your mental stability. This funky bitch, Alex Rogers, is coming on YouTube saying you're mentally ill, allegedly. Like, this is crazy shit. Like, you don't come and accuse a woman like that. Like, all jokes aside, you get creative, you roast Kaya. Get creative, find things to say about her. But don't say she's mentally ill. That's when you hit below the belt. That's not what we do in the creative world. And, when I was doing my MFA in creative writing, I would have found better ways, Alex, to deal with this shit. I wouldn't go way below the belt. You went way below the belt. Find ways to roast Kaya. If you got an issue with her, do that. But don't come on YouTube and say she's mentally ill. That's not fair to the rest of us women who want to watch you another time or even want to like you. Because those are the ways that homosexuals take women down. Subliminal, passive-aggressive ways. And then for the women like Tasha K, who facilitate that, it's not fair. And I already roasted you, Tasha K. You came on YouTube with Jacob Kohiner looking like the help. And that's what a lot of these women do when they go sit around these homosexuals. They drop the ball. When they go sit around these transgenders, they take the back seat. I'm not going to let a man ride my womanhood. That man needs to find another coattail, but it's not going to be my womanhood. And because a woman says that, she's homophobic. Because a woman is sure of her womanhood. Because she asserts in her femininity. Because in her moment, she's not going to share it. That's homophobic, and that's what these bitches want. These bitches want you to compromise. And when you look at the bitches that these bitches like, those are the bitches who compromise themselves. So, it's okay to roast. Like, when you roast somebody, it doesn't mean that you hate the person. That's not what roasting means. But at the same time, when you call somebody mentally ill and you're using the words allegedly, she's on medical, allegedly this, that's not fair. You're taking away the person's quality. You're destroying the person. That's not fair. That's not what it means to be creative. You're going way off mark right now. Like, you people are attacking this woman right now where you want to destroy her right now. Like, that's, and you know what? And these homosexuals, they do it just like that. They don't like women. They don't like women unless you compromise. I don't know why. It's like that with the psychology of the homosexuals. But I do know that funky bitch aggravated this whole situation. And I do know that T.S. Madison facilitated the funky bitch to say the things she said. Now, this is a funky bitch who came out of a funky vagina, who doesn't even have her own dead mother's grace. The funky bitch can't even find a box. Okay? And so, it's not fair to Kaya. This is if as a woman I stand, and I have roasted Kaya every now and then. I'll say some light shade or heavy roast, but I can never call another woman mentally ill when I see her taking care of herself, taking care of her children, being a grandmother, being a creative artist. Okay, T.S. Madison stole the Queen's Court. She came back up with the gag order. She was creative. She came back up with the next hot shit. Like, that's to be congratulated. But instead of you bitches giving her props for coming back up with the next title, she's running these YouTube streets. Instead of you doing that, you came to call her mentally ill. That's what we do as men. Imagine a war, and you go, and these are the men you can. Imagine if there was to be some type of national incident. These would be the men. These would be the men we would be left with. These would be the men we would be left with. These pitiful pieces of caca. These would be the men we would be left with. That is not fair. So Tread lightly on these YouTube screens. Tread lightly. Because we are not all here to destroy other people for clicks. We are not all here to destroy other people for YouTube money. Some of us are just here for the comedy. Some of us are just here for the fun. Like, if you're going to be creative, be creative. Use your creative license to roast somebody. But don't come on here and discredit this woman by calling her mentally ill, by saying she allegedly did that, while you're forgiving the fact that TS Madison just stole her brand, and discrediting the fact that she came right back with another hot title. Okay? So I'm going to get off. I wanted to come on a little live and really share my disgust at what's happening right now with you, Alex Rogers. Okay, I haven't watched all of you homosexuals, but I'm sure it's going to get worse. And you all are going to say worst about Kaya. But it's okay to roast somebody. But to call somebody mentally ill is like saying, I saw you commit a crime, and going down to the precinct and saying that shit and it being a lie. It's like making up a crime story about somebody. When you say she's mentally ill, what I want to do is I want to stand her and TS Madison alongside one another, and I want to see who's worst. So if Kaya's mentally ill, then TS Madison must be worst. Because I'm looking at Kaya, a woman with 2 breasts and a vagina, and I'm looking at T.S. Madison, a man with 2 big breasts and a small penis. So who's more mentally ill? You got to watch your mouth, little girls. Watch your mouth, gals, on these YouTube streets. Not everybody's here to destroy others. Some of us are here for just the fun, the comedy. Golly, this is not fair. It's not fair to her. Okay, it's not fair to me as a woman in the YouTube streets, knowing that I have to be in these streets. And a lot of these hoes, they'll bump into you in these streets and act like they didn't even bump into you. And that's how audacious a lot of these homosexuals are. So not only are you all facilitating the fact that T.S. Madison is stealing her brand, now you're calling her mentally ill. Bravo, Simo. Bravo for the homosexuals. Not only are they winning the bundle wars, they are winning the lies, like they are winning with lies and deceits. This is not fair to women who are ethical. You are taking femininity and you're dragging it in the dirt, acting like women when there is actually a crisis in masculinity, and you represent that crisis. T.S. Madison was just concerned with impressing these heterosexuals. That's all. She just wanted to impress these heterosexuals. You gave them your money. They took your money. They couldn't give you the service. They played you, girl. They come and take that out on nobody else. And then you try to play a woman. You get the heterosexuals play you, and then whatever the homosexuals do to you, the heterosexuals do to you, you come take it out on a woman, on a heterosexual. They cannot stand heterosexual women. And Tasha K, for you, honey, like I said to you, for the time that you went and sat next to Jacob Kohiner and looked like the maid, how do you go sit next to a homosexual and look like the help and look like the maid? Like, what type of woman are you? You look like a sloppy bitch. Like, your whole agenda to destroy another woman, I don't get it. I don't get the logic in these YouTube streets. Okay, not only did this male steal her brand, now you're calling her mentally ill? Who does that? What type of thievery is that? You people are wicked. You people are wicked. I couldn't be friends. I don't have any friends. I don't need friends. And if I were to have friends one day, I would never choose the types of y'alls, the likes of y'alls. I would never do it that way. I would really watch myself around the type of y'alls. I don't understand how you can go from one day. All you people have to do is be creative. Create your shit. Create your next shit. Create your next best shit. Kaya came back with the gag order. She did the Queen's Court. Now she's like, be creative. Create your own shit, Madison. You don't have to steal the Queen's Court. And these bitches are just facilitating thievery, thinking they're fly, thinking you're not funny anymore. The minute you start to discredit a woman, the minute you start to call this woman mentally ill, I'm done. I'm done with watching you guys. I'm done with watching these homosexuals who are destroying women, especially that funky bitch that came out of a funky vagina. Like, what type of a funky vagina did Funky Darneva come out of? And you can look at her. Look at that funky bitch. Look at him. He's not even living in the grace of his dead mother's grace. You know how sometimes your mama died, your grandmama died, and you're like, oh, my grandmama looking over me. This bitch's mama is not even looking over him. That's how pitiful these bitches are. And they steady try to drag a woman and destroy a woman. That's not fair. To use passive aggressive ways to destroy a woman, that's not fair. You people are supposed to be men. You're supposed to protect the women, but you don't give a fuck about that. Who give a fuck about that? They don't care.